The bus jolted forward, rattling down cracked pavement as the morning sun barely began to peek over the horizon. Students laughed, scrolled on phones, swapped homework notes. It should have been an ordinary school ride. But in just a few minutes, something extraordinary would happen, something that would change a quiet black girl's life forever, and send shockwaves across the nation. It began with one cruel demand. Back of the bus. That's where you belong. Chapter 1, The Quiet Girl. Aaliyah Johnson had never liked mornings. She preferred evenings, when the world was softer, when she could curl up with her headphones and journal her thoughts. At 16, she had mastered the art of being invisible, the kind of student who slipped into class unnoticed, turned in her homework on time, and never caused trouble. But invisibility didn't always protect her. Sometimes, no matter how small she tried to make herself, there were always those who noticed her skin before anything else. She heard the whispers. The snide comments. The mock laughter. She buried them deep, promising herself she wouldn't cry where anyone could see. Her mother always told her, "Baby, your silence doesn't mean weakness." But remember, sometimes silence also means surrender. Those words echoed in her chest now as she climbed onto the bus that morning, her backpack heavy, her earbuds tucked in but music off. She just wanted peace. Just one normal day. But peace wasn't something Trevor Bates allowed easily. Chapter 2, The Bully. Trevor was 17, built like a linebacker, his swagger filling the narrow bus aisle. He was the kind of bully who drew power from fear, who smiled only when someone else squirmed. He wasn't just cruel, he was calculated. He knew which buttons to press, which insecurities to exploit. And on that morning, his eyes landed on Aaliyah. She was seated midway, gazing out the window, clutching the straps of her bag like a lifeline. Trevor smirked. "Move," he said. She looked up, unsure if he meant her. His smirk twisted darker. "Yeah, you. Move. Back of the bus. That's where you belong." Gasps and whispers rose instantly. Some students glanced away, pretending not to see. Others leaned forward eagerly, waiting for drama. Aaliyah's chest tightened. She remembered her grandmother's stories of buses in Alabama, stories of humiliation and resistance. She thought of Rosa Parks, of those who had refused to move. And suddenly, this wasn't just about a seat. This was about dignity. Chapter 3, The Refusal. Aaliyah's fingers dug into her backpack straps. Her lips parted. The word escaped like a fragile bird, yet carried the strength of generations behind it. No. The bus hushed. Trevor blinked in surprise, then laughed. "What did you say?" "I said no." This time her voice was stronger. Trevor's laughter curdled into rage. "You think you're special? You're nothing." He shoved her shoulder. The driver glanced in the mirror but didn't interfere. As always. Something in Aaliyah snapped. Her uncle had taught her basic self-defense. He always said, not to start fights, but to end them when you must. Now, as Trevor grabbed for her bag, she moved on instinct. She twisted, redirecting his arm, forcing him off balance. He stumbled into a seat, stunned. The bus erupted. Cheers. Gasps. Shouts. Phones whipped out, recording the moment. Aaliyah's heart pounded, but her voice didn't waver. "I'm not moving. And I'm not afraid of you." Chapter 4, Viral Firestorm. By the time the bus reached school, the video was everywhere. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, captions blazed. Modern Rosa Parks moment. Black girl flips bully on bus. Courage goes viral. Within hours, it had hundreds of thousands of views. By evening, millions. But viral fame was double-edged. While support poured in from across the country, hate came too. Racist trolls flooded comments. Old classmates accused her of looking for attention. Trevor's friends muttered threats in the hallways. And through it all, Aaliyah just wanted normalcy. She hadn't meant to become a symbol. She just wanted to ride the bus in peace. Chapter 5, The Doubts. That night, Aaliyah sat at the kitchen table, scrolling comments until her eyes blurred. Queen. You're inspiring. You're brave, sis. But also violent thug. She should have just moved. Her phone shook in her hand. Tears welled. Maybe she'd made things worse. Maybe she should have stayed quiet. Her mom slid into the chair beside her. Baby, what's wrong? Aaliyah's voice cracked. What if they only see me as angry? What if I messed everything up? Her mom lifted her chin gently. Listen to me. You didn't mess up. You stood up. There's a difference. You didn't fight for attention. You fought for respect. Don't let anyone twist that. But it's so hard, Aaliyah whispered. Her mom pressed her hand. Bravery isn't about not being scared. It's about doing the right thing while you're scared. Chapter 6, School Pressure. The next day, tension filled the school like a storm cloud. Some teachers congratulated her quietly. Others frowned, muttering about disruption. Students were divided, half cheering her, half resenting the spotlight she brought. Trevor, humiliated, grew more hostile. He slammed lockers, spread rumors, tried to intimidate anyone who defended her. But something unexpected happened. Students began standing with Aaliyah. In the cafeteria, when Trevor tried to confront her, a group of classmates blocked his path. Not this time, one boy said firmly. Leave her alone. For the first time, Trevor's power cracked. Chapter 7, A Voice Emerges. By Friday, the school invited Aaliyah to speak at an assembly. Nervous, she stepped onto the stage, hundreds of eyes fixed on her. I never wanted to fight, she began softly. I just wanted to ride the bus. But sometimes silence lets wrong things continue. I realized if I stayed quiet, maybe my little brother would face the same thing tomorrow. I couldn't let that happen. Her voice grew stronger. You don't need fists to fight back. You fight with courage. With dignity. With refusing to let hate define you. And no matter what anyone says, you belong exactly where you are. Thunderous applause shook the room. Chapter 8, Aftermath. Life didn't become perfect overnight. Trevor faced suspension but returned bitter. Some students still whispered. Hate online never truly stopped. But something had shifted. On the bus, Aaliyah wasn't alone anymore. Students chose to sit beside her. They greeted her. They protected her. She realized the real victory wasn't flipping Trevor. It was flipping the silence. Chapter 9, The Bigger Picture. Weeks later, Aaliyah was invited to speak at a local youth conference. Her story wasn't just about one bus ride anymore. It was about every classroom, every workplace, every space where people were told they didn't belong. She stood on stage, her heart pounding, and said, Courage is contagious. When one person stands, others find their voice too. Don't wait for the world to change before you act. Be the reason it changes. The crowd rose to their feet. Final chapter, The Ride Home. That evening, as she rode the bus again, the sun dipped low, painting the sky in gold and pink. She sat in her seat, the same one as before. This time, Trevor sat quietly in the back, his eyes down. A younger girl slid in beside Aaliyah, smiling nervously. Can I sit with you? Aaliyah smiled back, warmth blooming in her chest. Of course. She gazed out the window, feeling lighter than she ever had. She had faced hate and fear, but she hadn't just survived. She had lit a spark that would keep burning. And in that moment, she knew courage wasn't just about her. It was about everyone who came after. Closing message to viewers. Friends, this story is more than just a fight on a bus. It's about refusing to be pushed down. About finding courage when it's hardest. About standing tall even when your knees shake. If this story touched your heart, drop your thoughts in the comments. Would you have stood up like Aaliyah? Have you ever faced injustice and found the strength to fight back?